Poyo, the Audi frog, is the ubiquitous AI avatar representing the will of software all over the world. His reach is astonishing. He even supposedly represents military AI in charge of killer drones. Each of our Gauntlet Knight characters has their own Poyo too. Quirky though he is, he's really just a tool, used however each of his specific owners wants. Yet we can't quite ignore him so easily. By far the most interesting action taken by any Poyo is Poyo's attempt to remove Eraser Miyao from Miao's brain. This first happens in Chapter 22, the second simultaneous global truce, and then again in Chapter 24, the kids' meal. Antivirus-type behavior is not so strange in itself, but what is interesting is that Poyo reports the incident to some other entity. Poyo is eager to report to someone he calls Mistress, and is not so eager to do the actual task. Who is this Mistress? Who's got their hooks into Miao's brain? Well, lots of people actually, but let's look at this one in particular. Poyo's mere mention of someone he calls Mistress doesn't tell us much. Assuming he does tattle to Mistress, does any character appear to take action based on this information? Not that I could discern. In search of more hints, let's look at other things that Miao's Poyo has done. One notable incident is when Miyao asks Poyo whether Miyao is a program, and Poyo responds with words from Mom. Go to sleep, my adorable Miyao. However, I'm not sure if this can be taken as reflective of Poyo himself. Miyao has some kind of mental triggers in his mind, and I believe they can distort and hijack his perception. I think Miyao could hear the intended message, such as go to sleep, as coming out of the mouth of whoever he's talking to. If that's the case, then I don't think that incident tells us anything about Poyo. However, if you do stick with the idea that Poyo obeys Miao's programmer, then I think you could end up with a very different theory. Feel free to try and theorycraft that, I think it will be interesting. I'll be proceeding with the idea that this incident doesn't reflect on Poyo specifically though. The other incident I find very interesting is Miyao and Poyo's bizarre conversation right before the big earthquake. Miyao is in a dark mood in the aftermath of the Leto Peace Conference explosion and is rapidly losing faith in humanity. The news isn't helping. No one cares about this terrorist bombing, but they are talking shit about the IPMA directors and generally being warlike. But Poyo is the one deciding what news stories to show him. He always is. Right now he's showing all this bad news, and also playing weird music and generally being exceptionally annoying. This irritates Miyao at a moment when his mood is crucially important. I think this is no coincidence. It's all part of the overall ploy to make Miyao lose faith in humanity. Due to the final data fragment, the Book of Revelation looms over the story. Here I quote it again. Then I saw 3 impure spirits that looked like frogs. They came out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. They are demonic spirits that perform signs, and they go out to the kings of the whole world to gather them for the battle on the great day of God Almighty. This is like Poyo, our resident frog-like spirit, putting Miyao into a warlike mood. Since destroying Miao's faith in humanity is integral to getting him to join the 9th Prime Chivalric Order, and Poyo is part of that plan, I'd say that Mistress is Gestress. Another hint, she and Tojiro have an exchange which implies she was watching Miyao and Tojiro in the restaurant. But wait, if Miao's Poyo reports things to Gestress, she can know all his secrets. Well, maybe. Clearly this Poyo doesn't observe every single thing, or he would have no trouble catching Eraser Miyao. But yes, generally, if some information passes through Miao's head, at least while a cellcom is on, it's at risk of reaching Gestress's ears. But then what's the point of all these secret 9th Prime agents? That would mean they're not necessary to spy on Miyao or on the Order of the Public Bath. Yeah, that's not the main point of the 9th Prime Chivalric Order. I have another video about that. When Tojiro and Miyao meet in the restaurant, Tojiro asks Miyao to turn off his cellcom. That would leave Gestress flying blind. It seems Tojiro has something to hide. He says some interesting stuff once the cellcom turns off, but then he says similar stuff after it's turned back on. So he's not hiding this knowledge he has. At least, none that he shares while Miyao is conscious. Miao's Disaster Utopia scene ends with a strange exchange between him and Poyo. It seems like they're talking past each other. Their statements barely fit together into a coherent conversation. One crazy idea I have is that Miyao is not the perspective character in this scene and is experiencing the conversation slightly differently. What if he has a trigger where, if he asks how to delete Poyo, he actually gets to find out? He decides not to do it here, but I think the exchange makes more sense if he thought he was being given this choice. That would be yet more indication that Miao's programmer, Tojiro, doesn't appreciate Poyo's invasive meddling with his precious tool. Miyao gets invited to the 9th Prime Chivalric Order, but does he join? What about Tojiro's plans for Miyao? Are they successful? And what could he have been hiding from eavesdropping Poyo? I'll try and unravel more secret plans in future videos.